Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today it's time we take a look at the best cards that you can go and pull from your Phantasmal Flames pre-release. Almost impossibly, as I've been telling you lately, we are at pre-releases. When we get to the end of this week, we will be at pre-releases for Phantasmal Flames. And if you're going to go to pre-releases, you need to know which cards you need to be looking out for. And also you need to make sure that, if there are particularly good cards you pulled, you know they're particularly good cards, so you don't accidentally trade them away for very little, because that, ladies and gentlemen, would be very silly indeed. Starting this Saturday, pre-releases are going on. They're going on this weekend. They're going on next weekend. And what are we looking to pull? Well, I might have mentioned this in videos before, but if we're looking at the best cards to pull from Phantasmal Flames pre-releases, and we are, Charizard. Now, there's actually 3 Charizard we're talking about here. We are talking about the Special Illustration Rare, we are talking about the Gold, and we are talking about the Full Art. All 3 of these are fairly big deals, but they are differing levels of big deal. So the Special Illustration Rare Charizard, that is the biggest one. And when I say the biggest one, I mean the biggest Special Illustration Rare that we've had in any set in the Scarlet and Violet era by a mile. Oh, what? No, sorry. No, bigger than that. Bigger than that one. Significantly. There we go. And similarly, the Gold card is also huge. It's, in Japan at least, you're talking basically 3 times what you would be looking for the Gold Lucario or Gardevoir from Mega Revolution. Very big cards. Basically, if you pull these, dance around, celebrate, take a picture, post it on social media, be delighted. Excellent. As for the Full Art Charizard, it's actually the 3rd biggest card in the set. Like, over in Japan, it is the 3rd biggest card in the set. When I say the 3rd biggest card in the set, I'm not including the Oricorio, because actually in Japan, Oricorio is the 3rd biggest card in the set, the Shinji Kanda artwork, but that's being taken out of the set to be used in the Charizard Ultra Premium collection. So for that reason, it doesn't really count. So if you include that, that's the 3rd biggest card in the set, but it's not in our set, which makes Full Art Charizard the 3rd biggest card in the set. I know most of the time, you pull a random Full Art Pokemon and you're like, all right, fair enough, that's all right. And we know that, the new versions of these where you've got the Mega, but then you've got the regular kind of sitting behind it, the non-Mega Evolved, they look cool and everybody loves them. But the Charizard is different here. This is a particularly good, particularly sought after card. It is higher than most Special Illustration Rares. Now, it is a Full Art, and that means that it will be easier to pull. The pull rate is higher for Full Arts than they are for, like, Special Illustration Rares and all of that. But bear in mind, this one is a very big deal. People love Charizard. It's not even that playable. Honestly, it's not a particularly playable card. That honestly doesn't really matter, because these are fancy Charizard, and yeah, people love them. Okay, cool. What about when we get beyond Charizard, though? What do we get? By the way, the regular version of Charizard, I should say, is around about the price of a Full Art in Japan. So, pulling a regular Charizard EX is akin to pulling like an ordinary everyday run-of-the-mill Full Art. So, please bear that in mind. Even regular Charizard is a pretty big deal. But let's stop talking about Charizard. We've talked enough about Charizard. What else do we have? Dawn. And honestly, it goes the Charizard cards. Dawn is just a little bit below Full Art Charizard, but it's about 3 times anything else. Like, legitimately 3 times any other card in the set. Other than the ones I've said, the Charizard. So, the Dawn is very much kind of your 4th place card behind the free Charizard, but there is a fairly big gap between Dawn and anything else. So this is another card you should be absolutely looking for and be delighted if you pull it. This is a pretty big deal. This is a cool card. And then we have a bunch of tier 2 cards. We basically got kind of 4 cards which all exist as nowhere near Dawn and the Charizard, but still noticeably higher than the rest of the set. We've got the special illustration rare Sharpedo. Now, Sharpedo's not a particularly playable card. Now, don't get me wrong, it absolutely has seen play and success in Japan, and it can be kind of fun. You know, single energy, 70 damage, draw 2, or 2 energy, 270 if it's damaged, absolutely can be good. It's not full-on top tier, but it's got awesome artwork by Nagami, so there's a bit of playability there. It makes sense. We've also got Rotom. Now, Rotom's cool because it says that all of your cards with Rotom in the name can have 2 tools attached, which we like. Mostly, we just like it because the artwork's fantastic. And it's like it's Rotom, but it's got a bunch of other forms of Rotom just chilling around on the artwork. Lovely touch. Big fan. This is one you're absolutely going to be looking for. We've got Megalopony. Now, I think Megalopony could be good. There is something here with Megalopony, and this is, of course, the special illustration rare version thereof. And what we got here, the best thing about it is 60 damage, but it goes up to 230 if it came from the bench to the active this turn. Very nice. But you may notice these 3 have something in common, and what they have in common is they are the other special illustration rares. Like Charizard's number 1 by a mile, Dawn is number 2 by a mile, and then these are the other 3. There's only 5 special illustration rares in the set, so it kind of does make sense that, you know, they would be there. But I said there were 4. What's the 4th card hanging around in here? Full Art Dawn. Full Art Dawn, again, not including Charizard, Full Art Dawn is significantly higher than any other Full Art. You're talking more than 3 times as high as any other Full Art. So the Full Art Dawn, pretty big deal. Like, when you're looking at the set as a whole, it's basically Charizard, Dawn, and other special illustration rares. They are basically your 3 categories of card here. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're trying to pull. That's what you're hoping for. And I'm aware that when I say trying to pull, it's a little bit weird because you can't try and pull a card. Like, either you pull the card or you don't pull the card. But you know what I mean. They are the ones for which you are hoping. Okay, awesome. So what else have we got in here? What else is there? Well, there's some illustration rares. And when it comes to the illustration rares, there is a clear and obvious number 1, double the price of any other illustration rare. It's the Piplup. Now, part of me is desperately hoping it's because everyone's realizing that Empoleon is super playable. Although, I'll be honest with you, Full Art Empoleon, not that big a deal. Not one of the biggest cards in the set, I'm sorry. But, you know, it is at least there. But I rather suspect that the actual reason for this being by far the most expensive is it's Piplup. Everybody loves Piplup. It's a first partner Pokemon, and the artwork is absolutely adorable. That's probably the reason. After that, there are another 2 which are noticeably slightly higher than the rest, but only slightly. That's your Zacian and your Wigglytuff. The Wigglytuff, I mean, look at it. Look at it! The Zacian is a little bit weirder, because it's not quite so obviously, yeah! But we are talking still about a box legendary, and it's worth noting that it is moderately playable, especially in pre-releases. For 2 energy, as long as your opponent's got 3 or fewer prizes remaining, it does 140. Not terrible, but it strikes me as kind of a pre-release all-star. And then standard format, just not terribly good. And then all the other illustration rares are all about the same. Like I say, we've got Zacian and Wigglytuff that are a little bit higher. And then Piplup is a lot higher. Although we are expecting there to be the Meowth in the set. That was in the Generations decks over in Japan. And that is one, we don't really have any idea how this one's going to do because it was a promo over in Japan. However, that did end up being more expensive than the box in which it came, so there is an argument that maybe what we should be doing here is at least preparing for this one to be kind of big. So your cheat sheet here is Charizard, huge. Dawn comes next. You've then got your other special illustration rares kind of bringing up the rear. And in terms of illustration rares, you've got Piplup. And maybe, just maybe, we can go for a bit of Meowth as well. So there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Napa J Love, who's one of our newer patrons and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.